neighbors are gonna be screaming all night. Yeah, that's fun. I love it here. I saved $150 a month. Wow, this is the best $300 I ever saved a month.
Danny H with $25. Hey Nick, my cousin wants to get a construction loan down here in Virginia. His girl owns a 4-acre lot and wants to build a 1-story Rambler. Builder quoted $260,000. Rate is 8% on construction loan. Is it a good time to build?
Not if you're gonna build that. If I'm being honest with you, man, you got a freebie, the land. Let's call the 4-acre lot $70,000. Let's just call it 70 grand, because it could be 100, it could be 50, but let's just call it a buildable. So let's call it $75,000. 8%, and I'm sure you have to have. They're considering the land a part of the loan down. Do they need any more money down? How much money do you have extra? Do you have 50,000? And how long would it take you to grow 50 to like 100,000? I know land eats, and it eats $2,000 a month, but I would definitely do any of my plans that I'd be building. I'd be thinking about it like the first structure that goes on it is not the last structure that goes on it. I would try to do it that way. I wouldn't try to get a little version of any one thing. I would try to get a really good version of a very usable spot. Maybe even starting with a garage space and living with like an area above a garage space and then working backwards on a main home. That's how I would do it if it was me. But building a house that has like less like you got the garage, you got the more bedrooms that you wanted, or whatever the that you wanted. You got the flex muscle. But if you got to flex your muscles at like a 4-level house, I would rather see you do it like a level 8 garage with a living unit, even something. But that's just the way I would. That's just project management going at it, that you only want to build one house. But 8% doesn't bother me. I mean, you're gonna pay a premium because it's a construction loan. Let's be honest. There's no property there, right? Shouldn't you pay more interest because it's more of a risk? It's not that much of a mystery. But be careful, and I would just maybe take a long look at what I'm building, and then ask myself, like, in the end of this really hard to do thing, did I just build myself something very mediocre when I had more gas in the tank? That's all, because there's just a lot of production homes in Virginia, so I wouldn't want to see you add to it. Like, just build another beige Camry. Don't, this is the one area where the beige Camry's not not the thing you want.
Thiccio with $25. Nick, I bought a new builder grade house in Waka. What is that Texas town?
Waco.
Waxahachie.
Oh, Waxahachie.
Waxahachie. Bought a new builder grade house in that place, Texas, 2 years ago for $325,000. It's my first house, but it's Dr. Horton.
Oh, Dr. Horton.
Dr. Horton.
Yeah.
Am I f***ed? Also, is it worth putting any money into for upgrades?
No, I wouldn't put any money into it. I would just sort of like leave it as is. Use the house. Use it, man. It's like so he bought a house from a builder. There's like, I think the two or three biggest builders in the country are Pulte, Dr. Horton. There's a couple other big guys out there, but those are the ones that are on CNBC all the time. Doesn't matter. They build whatever. They make up the bulk of, or the largest leg out of residential real estate. We build, what was it, 400,000 houses a year in this country. They take up a large portion of that. But yeah, they build a ton in Texas. Yeah, I know that once you kind of like know that you're in one, I'm sure you must be like, but you got to know that.
Yeah. I mean,
but I wouldn't be spending dough to have the princess contest right now with the other. I mean, it's not everybody in Texas has one of those, but I wouldn't be dumping dough into it, man. To be honest with you, I would just live in the thing, and then kind of like, you're gonna get a free kick from Dallas. I think so. Your property's gonna be fine. You'll be fine, but just slide out of it or rent it. Do a long-term corporate rental, like from the highest end, from those like weird new websites that work with like hospitals exclusively, and get like $5,500 a month from it, and then buy another house by saving up for a couple of years. If you want to keep it. I mean, they just trade pretty flat for the most part. They trade with the area. So you buy it for $400 and the area goes up, it's worth $550. It's pretty cheap. But it doesn't like, there's nothing you can do to it to make it sort of take off value wise, unless, by the end of it, you say, oh, I spent like $300,000 in raw cash on top of what I own this thing for, and I'm not even gonna get $1. I'm gonna get it back dollar for dollar. That's not the idea, right?
We got the Blackfire 218 with $30. Hey, Nick and Chris, I'm 23 from Massachusetts. I am eligible for 40B houses in my area. Metro West / South Shore. Should I consider it?
I don't even know what that is.
Some sort of affordable housing.
What he's what?
He's in South Shore area, and he's eligible for 40B houses.
I'd rather die. No, I wouldn't go do that.
Southie. A lot of this is the Massachusetts.
Isn't that the this is the Mass stream. I would never live in that, man. I would never do that ever. Your neighbors are gonna be screaming all night. Yeah, that's fun. I love it here. I saved $150 a month. Wow, this is the best $300 I ever saved a month. I mean, and I say this, I'm not trying to bust your balls. If you're like, you'd have to be literally borderline homeless to make that make sense. And I would still have like 4 roommates and charge them $400 a piece or something.
It's probably something a lot of us are eligible for, but that doesn't mean we should do it.
I mean, if your credit's totally rocked and there's not like a hope in sight and like up for you, sure, buddy. But as far as like, you kind of got your head on straight, you have a job, and you're just looking to save money, I think it's the last $300 a month you need to save.
Absolute zero, $25. I've been looking at houses since December 2019, trying to find 2,000 square feet on 15 acres off the road in a few good states for $650K or less. I'm still looking. Realtors are the laziest people on the planet. I just want your pity.
Yeah, man. Don't any of you guys that are like looking for like that? Where is he? What was the first sentence?
Looking for houses since 2019, trying to find 2,000 square foot on 15 acres off the road.
Yeah.
In a few good states.
Don't even use realtors for the first half of your all your searches. Just drive right up to them yourself. Just do that all the time. Don't worry about a realtor. Tell them you don't want to work with a realtor. I'm just checking it out. It's called doing a drive-by. Most realtors won't take you seriously if you don't drive by the thing. And to be fair, it's like negotiating a car over the phone. It's not worth talking about. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't mean, and honestly, you're not serious. Not to be a dick, but the truth is, they're like, I saw this house, it fits the build. It's 3, you're like doing a little bushing around. You're like, all right, cool, yeah. Owner wants to get rid of it. Yeah, is he thinking like 250? Yeah, he's thinking 250. Like you bush. Even if they did that, you wouldn't believe it. So there's really no sense in even doing it. You're just like pulling your pin. There's really no method that's going to make you happy where realtor. So honestly, just drive to the things. Like just drive to them. Drive all over the place. I do like 22,000 miles a year. I drive to houses to this day all the time. If there's a cool listing, I call Jake. I go to it. I drive to one once a week still. I looked at a piece of land this week. Another one. It was a piece of... I was all hot on it. I was like, oh my God, I found something.
Yeah.
Commercial, busy street. Just hit the market on LoopNet, $99,000. I'm like, this is a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Watch me go make $300,000 by putting a sign in some dirt, and the property is a total piece of shit. It's like soaking wet underground wetlands. Like I'm trying to put a commercial build, never ever would happen. I'm drawing up equations for 3 hours. Fucking idiot. But you got to drive to them. But you got to drive to a lot of them too, man. And because then realtors will take you seriously. And then they'll take you seriously when you basically want to bring a realtor a deal.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I talked to the owner. They said they do. Or maybe you can say if they don't want to, or you work with just their realtor and save a little bit. But that's the way I would do it for realtors.
Young Unk with $25. What's up, Nick? I am planning to buy my first house soon. Looking for a starter home in the $475 to $500K range. Nothing nuts. I live on the coast of South Carolina. Any tips and things I should look out for? Not trying to get fun.
I would be buying something old and special down there. I think like the South Carolina. I think that any of the influx that you have down there, people are going to want to like absorb that like southern. I would buy something, leave myself a little bit of money, and buy yourself something with like a ton of that like South Carolina character, the big Greek columns and whatnot, the floor to ceiling windows, something with like all that needs the grease on it, needs the elbow grease. But that's what I think people are going to be moving into. Those tract houses, stay the away from. Don't worry about and if you want to do something that's just going to make you money, rentals with the most bedrooms. But again, I would be buying something cool. But I think the people who are coming down there, I think people that are going down there are going to want that. That's my opinion. Just based on Southern Charm, the TV show on Bravo Network.